Imagine this. You've cleared your visa, packed your bags, and now you're standing at the airport. And then you realize you didn't budget for extra luggage fees. It's like 7,000 rupees gone before you even sit on the plane.
And wait till you land. Winter jacket, $200. Phone plan, that's another $50. Groceries, let's just say your Maggie stash won't last forever.
So, in your study abroad journey, financial planning, it's not optional, it's survival. Hello everyone, welcome back to How Do I, the most unfiltered, unbiased podcast by GD Connect, where we make studying abroad a little less intimidating and a lot more relatable. I'm Hadia.
And I'm Bhanu from the Founders Office at GD Connect. I work closely with students to help them create their financial roadmaps for their life and study abroad. And trust me, planning before you fly out is just as important as obtaining your visa.
Correct. This is the 9th episode, and today we are discussing how do I financially plan before I fly. Because tuition fee might be what you see on your offer letter, but the actual bill for studying abroad is way different. It's like an iceberg. What you don't see can sink you. Segment 1. Cost breakdown. Now let's start with basics. Everyone sees tuition, but tuition is not the whole story.
Exactly. Think of your expenses as layers. There is tuition, housing, transportation, food expenses, insurance, and those one-time costs like laptop or winter clothes. In countries like Canada or the United Kingdom, your winter wardrobe alone can cost a month's rent. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, I agree, and your location matters a lot. A student I remember in Toronto once told us, my rent is higher than my tuition. And meanwhile, her friend in Halifax was paying, I think, half as what she was paying for the same kind of apartment. Same country, but totally different budgets.
And don't forget visa fees, student union fees, admin costs. They all may look small individually, but when you sum them, but together, they can burn a hole in your pocket.
Yeah, so a quick tip from our side, always add a buffer of around, let's say 10%. So for example, if your budget is around 25 lakhs, try to allocate at least 27 to 28 lakhs because emergencies, they don't come invited. Segment 2, funding options. Okay, now comes the big question. How do you actually pay for all of this?
Now, listen carefully to all the points and don't miss out on anything. The three main pillars for your funding options are loans, second scholarships, and last but not the least, part-time work. Starting with education loans, they are the most common and offered by public banks, private banks, NBFCs, and fintechs like Yandan. Some education loan will ask for a collateral, while others will not. What matters is you compare their interest rates, repayment terms, and moratorium periods.
And then comes the scholarships, which are like the dream. They are merit-based, need-based, or country-specific. The only catch here is deadlines. I have seen so many students lose lakhs in free money simply because they didn't apply on time.
Now, let's talk about part-time work. Most countries will allow you a limit of 15 to 20 hours of work per week. While it's good for your pocket money and small expenses, but don't make the mistake of building your budget assuming part-time work will fund your tuition cost. Let's just say it's a fast ride to burnout.
Quick tip, think of it this way. Loans and scholarships, they cover your foundation, but part-time work is just a bonus, not the backbone. Segment 3, common money mistakes. Now, let's talk about what students get wrong.
Mistake number 1, ignoring city level differences. London will not be the same as Manchester, and similarly, New York will be quite different from Buffalo. These two cities may be in the same country, but will have totally different living expenses.
Yeah, mistake number 2, underestimating currency fluctuations. The rupee can fluctuate, and if your family is supporting you monthly, that's unpredictable budgeting situation.
Mistake number 3, lifestyle inflation. While students are initially cautious in spending their money, but then suddenly they are ordering $6 lattes every day, weekend trips, and ordering in thrice a week. And within month, their emergency fund could be completely gone.
And mistake number 4, forgetting one-time expenses like health insurance deductibles, sudden laptop repairs, or dental emergencies. These things abroad can be quite expensive. And if you don't track it, honestly, you will overspend. Budgeting is not optional, it's a matter of your survival abroad. Segment 4, student financial tips. Now, let's wrap this up with hacks from students who've already been there.
Hack number 1, Open a local bank account in your first week of arrival. This will help you avoid those nasty currency conversion fees.
Number 2, use budgeting apps like Mint, YNAB, or even simple Google Sheets. Remember, if you don't measure it, you can't manage it.
Hack number 3, buy second-hand goods wherever possible. Check out Facebook Marketplace, university notice boards, and even thrift shops. Why you should pay double for stuff you will only use for the next 2 years?
I agree. And number 4, do not convert every price into rupees. Yes, that coffee is 500 bucks. Cry once, accept it, and just move on.
Because remember, financial planning is not just about the numbers, it's also about your peace of mind. The more control you feel, the more energy you will have for what you are actually there to do, which is to study.
So, how do you plan your finances before you fly? Break down the real costs, explore funding options, avoid common mistakes, and learn from the experiences of students who've already been there.
And remember, financial prep is not just about surviving abroad. It's about making sure that money does not become the reason you can't thrive abroad.
I agree. Now that's a wrap on episode 9. How do I financially plan before a flight? Next up, we are getting super practical and we are answering how do I live on a student budget abroad without struggle? From grocery and rent savings to part-time work tools, budgeting apps, lifestyle choices, and even building an emergency fund.
Basically, your wallet survival guide for life once you land.
Catch you in episode 10. Until then, stay curious, stay prepped, and stay you.